Welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message at the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try enforcing some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 822 of the Trinity Force Podcast. I am your host, N.A. Eric, and tonight, or I guess today, since it's the afternoon we're recording, it is just myself and B0mo here to bring you the pod today. So, and we don't have that much of an agenda. It's more stream of consciousness pod compared to the normal, me being super prepped and everything, having the whole document filled out. But just the two of us because we're doing a drunk pod this weekend. We were originally going to do it on Friday, and then it got pushed to Saturday, and then today, and then it was maybe going to be next weekend, but we got it in today. So, yeah. Dude, how you doing, man? It's been a while since we've done just a two-person pod, just the two of us.
Yeah, pretty good. Busy with work, wedding planning, and then league, I guess, in general. So
yeah, so before the pod started, you were telling me about, because like I said, this is a drunk pod, so I am drinking some sweet tea and some Hendrick's gin from this gigantic bottle that I'll put up right here. It's a 1.75 that I bought. It was like $90 when I got my new job. I thought every time I get like a new job or so, I splurge myself. It happened like 3 times. I splurge and get like a nice bottle of alcohol. So I've gotten like a nice bottle of whiskey. I don't remember the first or second time, but then I got this one. So yeah, but then I was saying that I was drinking this, and you were talking about your drink, which is an audition for your signature drink in your upcoming wedding. So why don't you've already told me about it, but why don't you tell the listeners about, bring us through the whole narrative again.
yeah, so here's my big bottle. I have some whiskey here. It's fairly old. You can see all the dust collecting on it because I don't really drink that much, but
Maker's Mark is like solid mid-tier whiskey.
Yeah, it's not too bad buying in bulk, especially at Costco. Costco has it really cheap. It's like this big thing cost me like $40, and
nice.
It's lasting quite a bit. And I feel like whiskey in itself is pretty versatile. So
yeah,
for me, I'm a big whiskey and like bourbon person. So for my wedding, my signature cocktail would be revolving around that spirit. So I'm actually trying different types of old fashions or play on old fashions to serve for my signature drink. So today I have a peach old fashioned. So it's a simple syrup infused with like ground up peach, pretty much.
Okay.
Still have to figure out the logistics of serving it because it the way our bartender works, they require the drinks to be pre-batch made so they can just serve it out of like some kind of dispenser or whatnot. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that doesn't require a lot of assembly. I might do a couple bitter dashes here and there that the bartenders could serve along with it, but just due to the nature of our bartender's contract,
sure,
we're trying to stay away from having like a person actually make drinks and just have them pre-prepared, because we were doing like a couple kegs, wine, and 2 signature cocktails for alcohol, because the bartender doesn't provide any of the drinks, so we have to provide everything.
Could you maybe do something like, in like offices, they have those water, I don't know what they're like, Deer Park or like Minute, I don't know, some other like those water things. Could you maybe fill one of those up with about the proportions that you want of your signature drink and then your fiance's respective one?
We have to serve it.
Okay, so then something like that, yeah, and then you just basically have them put orange rinds for yours, because yours is an old fashioned, on the side, and then people could put them in, and you don't even have to have the bartenders put those in.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to figure out. Like I think they say they can do garnishes, but they can't make the drinks.
Sure.
So the rinds and stuff is pretty easy to do. But yeah, we essentially get a 2.5 gallon dispenser for the signature cocktails, right?
Nice.
So it's kind of like half those giant Gatorade bottles or tubs you see, and so that's what we're working with. And because our estimated guest count is over 100 people, we can't do cans or bottles of beer. We have to do kegs. So we also have 2 full-size kegs just for the beer, and then we have
What style of beer
we're
are you
lucky-
getting?
we're getting 1 hazy IPA and
Okay.
1 lager. So a mix between like the people who like the real bitter IPAs like me, and
Yeah.
hazies are a little bit better because they're not so bitter and strong.
Yeah.
They're a little bit more mellowed out, and then a lager type of beer for a little bit more of a crisper, refreshing, because it is also in the summertime too. So something that's slightly more drinkable for hotter weather.
Is it going to be outdoors?
Yeah, so it's outdoors
Okay.
in like the Washington State area. So I think
Given
this
the
year we
last
checked
few
the weather.
summers, then it's going to be
Yeah.
really pretty fucking hot, and there's no
Yeah, it's like
ACs
mid-80s
or
to
anything.
maybe 90,
Yeah.
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 But it is in like a forest area, so there should be a lot of shade and whatnot.
That's good.
So yeah, that's kind of what we're going for. And then I think we're planning on buying like 40 to 60 bottles of wine. So it ends
And
up
that's
being
not at all for the wedding. That's just for their own personal consumption. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of the alcohol situation. So we're kind of figuring out all the signature cocktails to serve that isn't too complicated to dish out, but also is representative things that we like.
Nice. Yeah, that's important to get things that like you guys would like, of course, because it's your wedding. It's not for anybody else. Like, yes, it's a celebration and other people have to enjoy themselves and shit, but like it's for you. So I'm glad you're prioritizing things that you guys would like and then making sure that it also fits in the larger scheme of what people generally like. Because if I think about like beer, like my girlfriend and myself, like I have grown to like IPAs, and hazy IPAs are good, and that like they're not super strong, they're not insanely hoppy or anything. And she is a lot more into like porters and cream ales and things like that, but also could drink like a normal lager or something. So that fits the whole range of different beer drinkers. Unless someone only likes porters, then they're kind of SOL with your beer selection. But then they could have a glass of wine, or they could have something a little stiffer.
Yeah, I feel like it's if you like the dark beer, maybe you just go with like a red wine. It's
Yeah.
kind of somewhat in the same. I know it's very opposite parts of like your drink choice, but in terms of like flavor profile and like your mouthfeel, I feel like it's somewhat similar.
Especially if you're not getting a dry red.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you're getting a dry red, that's very different than anything you get with beer. And personally, my favorite reds are, and for my favorite wine, I'm not a big wine person, but when I do enjoy a very dry red. That's what I really like, where it feels like your sun has been, your tongue's been baking in the sun almost afterwards, where there's just no moisture left, and that's perfect for me. But I know most people don't share my same opinion. So I'm sure whenever I get married in the future, whatever wines, if I choose to serve those, then there'll be something. It won't be dry reds. Yeah. Okay, so we know that yours is old fashioned. And so you were saying that you made a peach styled old fashioned. Like, which other flavor, I guess, combos are you looking at? Like, what other motifs are you looking at?
They're pretty much all fruit infused, right? So like grapefruit, thinking about like just a regular orange one. So instead of it just being a standard old fashioned, it's a little bit more emphasis on the orange, maybe
Sure.
like a lemon too. So looking at these like almost sweeter fruits, because whiskey in itself is pretty sweet in itself.
Yeah.
But that isn't too, I guess, watery. So like I don't want to do like a watermelon. I want something that has like some kind of like weight to it.
Yeah, I
like
think
maybe, like,
grapefruit's a good choice I mean, if you were going to go with that, as long as you're using like a grapefruit extract. Is that what you were planning on doing, or the raw grapefruit itself?
So the simple syrup would be made with the grapefruit juice. So it'd pretty much be like reduced grapefruit juice with sugar.
Okay.
So you kind of get like I guess it's like a less sour grapefruit juice almost when you make the bitter. Well, so that's why I'm trying it out to see if the concept in itself will work. I don't know
Yeah.
if these will be good, but I'm testing them out and trying to figure out.
Gotcha. The only reason I ask is that I don't know. It would depend on how the chemistry is done, but grapefruit juice and grapefruit in general can nullify a lot of different medication. So you want to be careful with that. serving that at a wedding if people aren't aware of that. Like I know that it does stuff for certain like blood thinners or heart medication, but it also works for it
But
also
with the
can nullify birth control, which is going to be relevant around a
Mhm.
wedding. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we can see. But yeah, it's all experimental at this point, just trying to figure out because we're about a little less than, well, I guess we're 11 month exactly at this point, so still have some time, but trying to get all the
nice.
logistic stuff sorted out.
That's exciting, man.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, 11 months still feels like a long time, but I'm sure it's going to fly.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So what's your fiance's signature drink that she's thinking of?
So in the Seattle area, there's this company called Rachel's Ginger Beer.
Okay.
So it's a play on a Moscow Mule with a flavored ginger beer, and it's kind of based on a flavor from Seattle with the ginger beer. So they do all different types of flavors of ginger
Sure.
beer there, but it won't be just straight up regular ginger beer. It's gonna be some kind of fruit infused ginger beer with vodka for like a Moscow Mule.
Nice. That'll be good. Mules are very good. They're crowd pleasers too, so I'm sure that one's going to be good. Has she made a decision or even started to toy with which of the different fruit infusions she's going to use?
Yeah, we're ordering a couple to be delivered to us to try out. So again, more experimentation to see which one tastes best.
Nice. That'll be cool.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, when you do get around to tasting those and trying them out, we're going to have you report about it on the podcast so everyone can keep up with us.
sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm trying to think like if I were to if I were to do a signature cocktail at my potential future wedding, um I might go old fashioned as well. I might just like be really basic and go like gin and tonic like I liked a lot early in college. Um I'm not sure. If it's a nice bar, an old fashioned is my go-to. So that might well be it.
Yeah, I judge a lot of bars and restaurants I go to by an old fashioned, so I will always start with an old fashioned and then I'll try the other stuff. But the old fashioned is where I usually start my I guess evenings or when I do end up drinking at a
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've like of the other like classic in air quotes cocktails, I'd have to think that, those like gin and tonic comes up like rum and coke, but I'm not going to be the person that has a rum and coke as their signature drink. Like no, sorry. Um uh like a Manhattan, but I've tried a Manhattan and I don't like it, so I'm not going to have it there. I've tried a Cosmo and I don't like a Cosmo. For those of you who don't drink or don't know what that is, that's a cosmopolitan, and I don't like it very much at all. I've never tried a Grasshopper, but I think I might. I might enjoy it given what I know about the ingredients. But yeah, I'm not sure. I probably would go with an old fashioned, like but get like some real nice bourbon uh, to go with it because that makes that. I mean, it's mostly just alcohol, so the quality of the alcohol brings it a long way. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Yep. And I think my girlfriend would go with some sort of margarita, so some sort of like blended margarita. There'd probably be like one of those things in a restaurant where it's just like constantly spinning, just like a couple different flavors of those would be my guess.
A giant slushy machine of margaritas.
Basically, yeah, we'd get like a
Yeah.
Kona ice machine, and then like when they're not
Yeah.
looking, like open the top and pour in like 2 handles of tequila or some shit. I mean, it'd probably be a lot more
Mhm.
official than that, but I think that would be really funny.
It's like
Yeah.
the places in Vegas that have that, like the giant Slurpee machines, but are just margaritas that you can just get like a half yard stick of it. And
Yeah.
it's like 3 feet tall. It's insane.
Yep. But in Vegas, at least they have those to help people when they drink too much. They have those the trucks that come with like IV fluids to basically and electrolytes and shit just to rapidly detox you and give you a shitload of not antioxidants. I just said it. I mean like sugars and stuff, basically to bring your body back into balance. So
Electrolytes.
yeah, that was it. I just said the word.
Hydration,
I totally
hydration.
forgot about it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, cool. Well, I'm glad everything is going well, even though it's really busy for you. Nice, glad to hear it. I have been decently busy. My desk is in a different spot, which people who watch the video may or may not know. Um, I would turn my camera around, but then I'm worried it would fall off my monitor because it's not very securely put there. I kind of precariously have it on there, but there's actually like a couple of sheets that I got from Target, like real cheap sheets that are on the floor right now. We're planning on painting the wall that is directly behind the camera, actually. Yesterday we painted one wall in our bedroom. These are just meant to be like contour or contrast walls, but basically I took everything out of my office because I work from home. So my office and like my gaming station, everything like moved out and dismantled. So then, like 20 minutes before this podcast, I was rapidly putting shit together. Um, yeah, but so that's why I'm at a different angle. League wise, I've been playing a decent amount, and my win rate is hovering right around in like the high 40s or so, and I'm getting closer to Emerald, which is good. It's low in top lane, so I should probably stop like putting top as my first sometimes, but um, I find it a lot more fun sometimes because I can kind of just turn my brain off in jungle a lot more, even though I know that jungle is the most brain intensive role for like macro decisions, but I kind of know. I've been playing it for years. I have a general sense about what I'm doing, and especially if I'm playing like brain dead champions, like I'm playing like Maokai or I'm playing like Poppy. There's not a lot of complicated mechanics to these people. It's right click or press E in a bush or some shit like that. Press W to stop someone dashing, that sort of shit. Yeah. Went on a really nice hike today. It was like almost 2 hours away from our apartment, so we left at 6 a.m. To get out early because our dog is part husky, part German Shepherd, so she overheats really easily. And since it's still the summer, then she can overheat real easily. So we got out there, and then the base where we started was. Actually, let me just Google this because I didn't believe the map. Let me see. It was called Jefferson, Colorado. Altitude, we were about 9,600 feet when we started, and went up about 2 to 3,000. I'd guess we were above the tree line when we reached the apex of our trail, although some trails went further on. But between my asthma and us had already hiked like 5 miles, going up and everything, then we just decided like let's just call it here. Let's stop, have a snack, drink some water, and then walk back down, and then hike back down. Yeah, but it was sweet up there. Like there weren't trees for the most part. We were actually like above the tree line and seeing the pine trees, and then there weren't any deciduous because we were up too high for deciduous trees. So it's just pine trees everywhere. Seeing rivers and stuff like that, and then looking like 2,000, 3,000 feet down at the town in this basin surrounded by mountains and stuff was so cool. Yeah, it was fantastic. But I got back from that at like 3:40 or 3:30, and we decided to pod at 3:40. So I hopped in the showered, did like a speed shower. While I was showering, my girlfriend helped put my desk together. I got out, came over here, and yeah, now we're recording and stuff. So it's been a busy day for me today so far. Yeah, but it's been good. Ooh, I'm not someone who knows a lot about music. I'm not musically gifted at all. My siblings are. My dad is. My mom is not at all. She's terrible at music, everything about it. But I'm not. I don't. Was never really that interested or good at playing in music. In any case, my girlfriend is very musically talented, and then also follows and knows a lot about like music history and like different artists and stuff like that's her whole thing. Like I don't really listen to music all that much. I listen to like lo-fi, and that's not culturally music all that much. Anyways, when we were driving back, we were talking about different artists and stuff like that, and this was like probably one of maybe two occasions in the 5.5 years we've been dating that I've actually been able to like explain and teach her some stuff about music, and I was thrilled. She'd heard of Buddy Holly but hadn't listened to any of his music. She also didn't know hardly anything about I don't know how we got onto it, but we were talking about then we got onto like Frankie Valli, and then talking about him and his music some, and didn't know anything about it at all. So I got to like show her some of that, and I was I wasn't like, kind of a dick, but I was kind of chuffed. I was like, I got to teach you some stuff about music. That's really cool. She said she would have been just as smug had she taught me something about like League or something about video games in general. But that was one of my highlights of the day. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this next patch coming up. I mean, we're not going to talk about it now. It'll come out in the next episode because there's a shitload of nerfs coming out to stuff that I really don't like dealing with. Like, they're changing Duskblade some, they're changing a bunch of assassins, and it's going to be so nice. It'll make solo queue a lot more pleasant when someone kills somebody and then they get the Duskblade proc, not disappear, but like go invulnerable, and then the ignite or the Leandry burn doesn't kill them because they're invulnerable to damage. Well, that's going away, folks. They're gonna still take dot, which is nice. So, yeah. Anyways, I don't know how I got onto that, but that's where my mind stream of consciousness went to. Yeah. Yeah, when you've been playing League mostly, have you been playing much ranked, or has it been mostly norms and ARAMs and shit like that?
Pretty much only ranked or flex.
Okay.
It's been kind of wild. So I'm actually
Yeah.
looking at my op.gg and I'm like kind of surprised. So it felt like I was losing a lot of games in solo queue, but I'm at 20 wins and 22 losses, which is weird because I started like 2-8. So I guess I've climbed out of that hole, but it definitely feels like I'm losing more than I am. But I guess I had a string of wins earlier on in this split that maybe I didn't realize how large that was, and so now it's kind of evening out, going either 2-1 or 1-2. So I'm sticking to like the smaller play block schedule, so I'm not playing too many games, but making sure I get a consistent number of games in per day.
Sure.
So I'm Emerald 4 right now with 4 LP. But the one that's really surprising is my flex. So I have a 25% win rate in flex queue. And I play with other people, so I guess I'm losing a lot of those games. And so it's
Over how many
6
games,
wins.
though?
24 games.
Okay, so enough of a sample size.
Yeah, so 6 wins and 18 losses. So it's past the point of just like unfortunate events, but I'm playing with all my friends, and it seems like I have no idea what's happening, but my games don't look like they're much different. I actually have like a pretty good KDA, like higher than 3 KDA, but damage is also off the charts. But it seems like when I lose, like the rest of the team is just kind of running it. So this one game I'm playing in a Azir game, I went 9-8-6, so it's not great, but
In a
our bot
loss,
lane-
though, that's not that bad at all.
yeah, but our bot lane in that loss combined went 6-19.
Oh, no.
So it's like these sort of things where I hope it will get resolved, but I don't know. Something about the matchmaking just seems really off, and I can't really figure out what it is. It just seems like the skill discrepancy is pretty large. Like my laner opponents are like not anywhere close to my level, so
They're
I feel like
either way lower or way higher.
way high. Yeah, and I feel like that's the same maybe across all of the other positions, because it seems like
There's such
maybe
disparities.
yeah, but I feel like I never have those larger skill gap players on my team. I feel like usually all the wins are because of me, and the losses are just something else, like something ridiculous, and so it's very very perplexing about what is happening in these specific games. But yeah, we trek on, I guess.
Well, that's extremely rude of you, because of these so far, I'm seeing of the 7 games I've played of Flex, you were in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 7 games that I've played so far of Flex. The
How many of those are
win
wins
you
and
were on,
losses?
one of those you were, the one win you were on my team. There was a remake. Oh, sorry. Okay, I guess not. So not 6, so 5 because there was a remake. Sorry. But you were on. No, you weren't on my team for the win. Apologies. You've been in every game of every time I've been with you. I've
We've
lost.
lost.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have lost.
And so
Yeah, it hasn't been great.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe the flex matchmaking is also really weird too, because I'm gold 2 right now in flex.
Oh, I'm Emerald 4 right now in Flex,
Yeah.
and I'm 1-6. I have a 14% win rate. I've only played 7 games, but like,
Yeah.
still, it's been rough in Flex. But that being said, of the 7 games, I've played 5 unique champions. None of them have been junglers. I played Yasuo top. I played Garen top. I played Poppy. Oh, I did play Poppy jungle that one game with you and Zill, and then a couple of randoms in bot. I played Caitlyn ADC, and I played 3 games of Scion.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because I'm not really playing mid. I'm just playing with friends and just filling whatever. Because a lot of the times, someone I play with is a mid laner, and I'll off roll. But at the same time, it's like the very last game of Flex I played. I had a Talia support,
Ooh.
and they went 5-12, and then they had 4 assists.
Oh.
Out of how many kills? Out of a 20 kill game, so I guess 20% KP type of situation going on. But yeah, it was just,
if it was 20 kills and she had 9, it was like 45. 45%.
Okay, yeah.
That's still pretty bad for a support, especially someone who... Did she build Leandries? I bet she did.
No, she went Ludens.
Oh, okay, never mind then. Because Leandries and other like dot items give you like over a higher number of assists because you're constantly dealing damage over through the fight.
You would think she would go Leandries too, because we're up against a Soraka. So Leandries would seem like a better item than.
Were there any tanks in the game?
Nope. Darius.
Okay.
I feel like you want to go Leandries regardless.
Leandry, Morello, and then tier 1 boots, and you just sit on those tier 1 boots, and then you start building like other, I don't know what else, like probably the support item at that point. That one, yeah.
And then they like, I don't know, just something was like weird where it seems like maybe I'm just on a different page compared to everyone else in general. But this person I'm looking at who played the Talia support was they're in gold 3 right now with a 42% win rate. And they clearly Talia's their most played champion too. And so I'm just confused why if you're playing your most played champion like that, you can't play it correctly. I understand you don't know how to play support, but there's a certain aspect of knowing how to play your champion, and she didn't. I think she had like 2 knockups the entire game. She kept on missing all of her knockbacks into her rocks.
Oh.
And then she would flash, go for a knockup, miss, and then you're stuck there, right? So she can't do anything, so she's trying to walk out and she just dies. And so it's like things like that were just like, I don't know, it just seems like there's a lot of over forcing in a lot of my games that I'm seeing, and I don't know why that's happening, where it's just like the play's dead, but they messed up one thing and they feel like they have to redeem themselves and then just like straight run it.
Yeah.
I do understand that maybe is more of like a low elo type of thing, so maybe, and I do fall for it too when my teammates I get baited by my teammates all the time. It's like, I have to try to bail them out, and then I go in there when I know I shouldn't. Instead of just taking the one death, I end up getting chunked out, and I can't do anything for whatever we're trying to set up around the map. So it just throws off the tempo of the full team. But I feel like it's just like in the moment, it's very hard to have that impulse control and like be aware that maybe that's not the smart thing, even though it's frustrating. You know what I talk about, where you're kind of just like frustrated, like, oh, you have to feel like you have to make a play to make up for whatever your teammates are doing. But maybe I have to just try to get away from that mindset and just focus on what I'm supposed to do.
Well, I kind of get that. I had a played a Fiddlesticks game where everyone flamed me at the end because we ended up losing. Yeah, I mean, I was 2, 5, and 16. U.GG did give me the carry, but also Fiddlesticks gets overvalued stats in that I've learned, because the trinkets give an outsized level of vision, plus also you get a shitload of crowd control score just playing that champion. because everything besides your W gives you CC score generally. So yeah, but in any case, I was 2-5-16. The enemy Jarvan was 16-10-17, so he was he was sinning really hard early. And if you guys don't know what I mean by that, it's like basically coin flipping on shit and like hovering in bushes where there's no reasonable reason to be there. So why would someone expect you to be there when, your blue buff has respawned and you're sitting in the bottom brush behind the alcove or something? Like, it was like small cases like that where it happened constantly. And then people also weren't warding, so then he was getting rewarded for it, and Jarvan does snowball decently hard, and he was building Bruiser. But I had a couple of ults which didn't end up working, but they were the right idea, I think. It was like one over the wall right by, one of those big walls in mid, not the small size walls. One of those right over, because we saw 3 of the enemy champions in the area. One of them was a Teemo support. We saw the Jarvan, and I saw an Aatrox that was top lane in mid, but he wasn't nearby them. So I ulted over the wall, and then Kai'Sa and Yone also happened to be right there. I was like, well, fuck. They were not visible on Vision before. And I didn't get the fear because apparently we were on Vision, even though I thought I swept it all out. But then there was also one where everyone blamed me for losing the game because we wiped them, we got down to the inhib, we took their inhib, we took down one of their Nexus turrets, and we were backing out. I then stood behind one of the Nexus, or behind one of the base walls, and then the 5 of them were approaching out, and as they approached out, I ulted over the wall, and I was pinging like, I'm going to go for this. I pinged like 8 times. I'm going to go for this. Because everyone else on my team, yeah, they had some mana. They were about half health or so, but if I'm Fiddlesticks with Proto Belt Zanyas and Deathcap and Sork Shoes, like, I'm going to probably melt half their health bar before they can do anything. I landed on them, 5-man fear. The enemy, like, my allies decided they're just going to keep walking away, and then after I had already dealt, my ult had worn off, I'd used my Zanyas, my flash, like everything, I die, then they start to come in, and then they blame me, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you just threw this game. I'm like, sorry this didn't work out, but it was the right call to try and do it, because if I land that, and we at least get, like, 2 or 3 of them, we end that game right there. It doesn't even go any longer. We end it at, well, I guess it was 36 minutes. It was a long game, but we end it right there. So, yeah, I've had some not great experiences in the last week or so in solo queue. And Norms and Flex also haven't been that much better. Like, there's been a lot of Kane Smurfs I've seen. Specifically, like, I saw 3 of them when I was playing 2 days ago with some friends, and then also in some of my solo queue games, like, I've seen some of them. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, it feels like Smurfs are definitely more of an issue, but
not yet. It'll get a lot worse once people reach their rank.
But it seems like it's happening sooner now because of the second split for some reason, because you don't need as many games, and the LP games were kind of insane when you first started this second split. But
yeah,
I'm still getting people who are like level 32, 33 who just started playing, matching up against with like actual Smurfs who are like an 80% win rate, and it just like feels kind of bad that these guys who can barely control their character, let alone know what pings do, are just up against these type of players. So I maybe it was a bad idea to get rid of Smurf Q on Riot's part, but well, I think it was a bad idea. I don't know why I'm saying.
I also agree. Like, there should be. Well, I mean, I've said this before. I think that everyone should be able to have one and only one account in per server. Like, okay, if you're someone that travels between different servers in different regions, fine, you can have multiple accounts. I don't care about that, but you should only have one per server. So, like, I do have a Smurf, but it's like level 24. I've had it for 5 years at this point. I don't hardly ever touch it. I mean, some of my good friends who do play this game, and I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to call anybody out, but they do have Smurfs and they play on them regularly. And I get that they want a testing ground for stuff, but I personally don't think that should be allowed. Like I've said, I think it should be tied to either your social security number or your IP address. And then when you're moving, you let them know. Or if you're going to be on vacation or something, like you let them know so that you don't decay. Even if they don't let you play, like if I was in Diamond and then I go back, back to Georgia where my family lives, home for Christmas, then I shouldn't be able to play any ranked or anything. Like norms, fine, you let them do whatever, but you're in a different location, you're not allowed to play ranked. That's just a fact of life, or you can't log in or something. But if you're going to go somewhere, you let them know, and then they pause the decaying mechanism.
Yeah.
For most ranks, that doesn't matter because decaying is only Diamond Plus. Although, is there decay in Emerald? Do you know?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but now I'm kind of curious.
There was no decay in Platinum, so I don't think there's decay in Emerald.
Let me see. I'm looking. Decay only, as of August 1st, 2023, Decay, Riot Games support says decay only occurs for players in Diamond and up.
Okay, so that's like 1%.
Yeah,
of players.
1 to maybe 2, maybe 3%. I don't know how many will end up in Diamond. Yeah, but very small select. Okay, so yeah, if you're elsewhere, like you just can't play ranked or something, or you can't log into your account, not a big deal. Unless you let them know, like, I'm moving, so my location is going to change, my IP address is going to change, like, everything's going to change ahead of time. I know that makes it a lot more bureaucracy-y, but it removes all this garbage that we're talking about here.
I don't even know why you need a second account. Like,
Agreed.
Isn't the point of playing ranked to get better? So if you just essentially you give up, right, trying to improve the game because you're not having fun, you're not getting your dopamine hit. That's what it is, right? You're not getting your dopamine hit of winning and seeing your LP go up. If you actually have to like play to earn your rank, that's unfun, it seems like, to a lot of players, which I feel like it's more rewarding if you figure out a way to get past your obstacle instead of, oh, you know what, I graduated high school, but college is a little too tough, so I'm gonna go take some 7th and 8th grade classes again to make myself feel better. That just doesn't seem
It's
good.
the same. It's the
Like,
same reason as like it's the same thing as like people playing single player games and then not being able to figure out some puzzle, so they Google it.
mhm.
As opposed to try. Oh, okay, there's something to be said for like some of these puzzles in some games. So I'm thinking like Baldur's Gate because that's super popular right now, right? Like people are talking about it. There are some puzzles in that game that are extremely difficult to figure out if you're not reading the journal texts of some things, or you're
Yeah.
not able to decipher those. So I understand like looking up some things, but if you're not able to figure out, like, if you're just basically reading a walkthrough of how to go through some character arc, like what are you even doing? And that's kind of the same thing with what we're talking about with ranked, where if someone is playing games unless they're trying to learn a new role, but if they're trying to learn a new role, why not just play on your normal one, and then you're going to drop some because you're learning a new role, or play it in norms, because norms doesn't have a upfront ranked value. Yes, there is a behind the scenes MMR value for it, and there's unique MMR values for the 4 different queues, being ARAM, Summoner's Rift, normal. Does Blind Pick have a different system than Draft?
I have no idea. I haven't touched blind pick since I hit 30, so I don't know.
The only time I ever touch Blind Pick is if like a new champion comes out, like on Samira's release, and I need to be able to play her for the podcast or something, to be able to understand how to play it in a game. And she was banned. Yeah, I think her ban rate on her release was like 110% because she was banned almost every game, and it was between both sides can ban. So that's why like ban rates can go up to 200%, because you can, if both sides ban every game, it's 200%. So hers was over 100. So in order to actually be able to play her on release, you needed to kind of play blind pick or be really fucking lucky. So I did that then, but I barely ever play blind pick ever. I haven't played it really since then. So I don't know if blind pick is a different system than draft, to answer my own question. But
yeah, I also think too, this is like my personal opinion venting, like solo queue should only be solo. You can't duo with anybody, and then leave flex to be like duo 3Q, if you want to solo and practice a champion or 5-man stacks. I understand the 4 reasoning. I wish we could allow 4 players, but I understand that can be abused. But in terms of the 4 and the 1, in terms of like hostage situation or just inadvertently bullying that single person if you 4 of you are in a call. But I don't understand why solo queue just can't be a
So,
solo experience.
well, so
in
here's
itself.
here's the solution to that, I think, to answer your question there. I totally also understand the hostage potential situation there. But did you know that Clash games cannot last forever? Did you know that they have a finite end time?
Is it like 55 minutes or
So I,
something?
I don't know the exact timer, but I know that at some point the game forcibly ends and gives the win to one team. It's not that the minions destroy, the minions start parading out way faster. Like in ARAM, once you hit, I think, 25 minutes, instead of every 30 seconds of wave spawning, it goes to every 10 seconds, and they move twice as fast to basically speed up the game where you're constantly having to wave clear as opposed to fighting, or you're going to give up your base. Clash has a time where I want to say it's like 80 minutes or something, where if the game is still not over, it just ends, and they give the win to some team. I don't know what the metric is that they use, but they give the win to some team. It's probably someone who has, it's probably the highest average CS or highest average gold or KDA. I don't quite know what it is, but I know that that's a thing. So then why not in hostage taking situations? So then, because those were worried about someone being stuck in a game for like 4 hours. If it's because there's some videos on like the OCE server where you can go watch where it's like Viger on the other side of Nasus, but in the same Discord call and stuff, and there's them and like one other person, and there's 3 people on each other team that are randoms that are locked in games. Basically, just make it so the game has a finite time of like 2 hours or so, and if no one wins, then you just wipe it. You call it a draw and get out. Or everybody, if it's ranked, everybody gains 10 LP. You give it just a small amount that everybody gets some because you managed to not leave the game, not be toxic, and still stick it out and not lose through that amount of time. You just give them a small reward for that.
I guess I wasn't thinking about that type of hostage situation. I was thinking like you're in a group of 4, right? And you're with one random, and the one random is just not cooperating and just being like the
Oh, you were
Disco Nooning
okay.
type of
Got it.
Or the other way around where one person's taking it seriously, but the other 4 are just trolling them, like 4 laners and following the jungle everywhere trying to steal their camps type of situation.
Got it. Okay, I was thinking the opposite scenario like you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to do in that case. If ideally all 4, that one person reports all 4 of those people and they all 4 get banned.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ideal scenario.
Yeah. I also do not understand why Riot forces new accounts in like gold MMR. I feel like that's also
It's total.
really
Well,
weird.
it's based on their normals MMR. They then port that into ranked is what they have to do, because otherwise, then you're starting at a blank slate, and that's not. I'm not defending the position. I'm saying, in that line of thought, then you're porting what their MMR is into the ranked system, and then placing them in there for their games. I also just think that in order to deal with that, okay, there's 2 options. You put them in, bronze or silver or something, wherever the 50% mark is, or actually probably like 40 or 30% is, you put them there at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Or you
I do think
have only people that have not finished their placements can be placed with other people who have not finished their placements after like 2 to 3 weeks of the ranked season starting. For the first 2 to 3 weeks, people are still placing, so you can't really have that. But or maybe if they didn't play ranked the previous season, then you can get placed with them or something like that.
I'm just so I do believe that if you don't allow people to climb quickly, it almost de-incentivizes Smurfs. So a lot of complaints are I'm not getting enough LP and I can't play as much. Well, I in a tough shit type of situation, like I don't know what to tell you, but I feel like you have to earn
Yeah, like
your
I
rank.
hate
You
to rain
can't
on your
just
parade, like, but
yeah.
if you have if you have a job and a family and stuff, or you have college classes or high school classes or whatever, and you can't play that often, then I guess you can't climb to diamond or challenger or
Yeah.
grandmaster or master. Like, tough shit.
Especially if you've never been there, right? That's the whole argument. It's like if you haven't even been at that rank, what makes you think you deserve to climb at a quicker rate to get there efficiently? Like if you have a 52-53% win rate, then you'll climb. That's just how it works. And the system always keeps readjusting because it has to reflect for some variability, right? You can be a gold player, but sometimes you play like a platinum player, but the majority of your time playing is a gold player, and so the system has to account for those probabilities of you playing above your means, right? Or on the other hand, too, it also prevents you from losing a lot of LP when you're playing below your means. If you're a gold player, but sometimes you'll play just like a silver player, and that can happen for a string of games. Whether you have some kind of other issue that you're dealing with, you can't really fully focus on the game, and so there's this whole variance buffers that are set up to make sure that you're still within your range. But I think people are still complaining that that shouldn't be there. But I think I disagree with the people who believe that. I think you have to earn a rank up.
Yep.
Like if you're just going 50-50, I don't think you should expect to climb, and that's kind of where you're capped at. And in order to actually improve at the game, you have to start figuring out how to be better than your 50-50 rank. Just because you're
In
50-50
your
doesn't.
specific elo, because
Yeah.
there are things that are better or worse in any given elo.
Hmm. And I would even say like each division or each tier is pretty similar. Like I would say a silver 4 and a silver 1 are pretty comparable um, in terms of abilities that they have. So when someone says like I'm a high silver player, that just doesn't mean anything to me.
When
It's
I hear
yeah.
high silver, I mean it's the same thing as like high plat or high. Okay, I guess diamond I still have a bias towards because diamond has now it's been changed, so maybe that's gonna go
Mhm.
away. But like, let's say it's high plat, high gold, high silver, high bronze, I guess throw iron out because iron's different as well. But the other ones, it's kind of like just say your that respective rank
Yeah.
because there is not that much of a difference at all.
Because with you c- you could have like a lucky 10-game win streak, and that's a difference between silver 3, bottom of silver 3, and almost hitting gold 4. And that's a 10-game win streak. That's possible, right? You can get lucky and just win a whole bunch of games, even if you're not performing well. And so the variance there is there to ensure that you're not mistakenly placed into gold. So even though you might not be a gold player, you could end up in gold, and then you'll just drop back down. But I think maybe lowering the gains in itself might prevent smurfing, because then these smurfs will go to another account and they'll have to grind those smurf accounts to actually level up. Like I would say the most LP you can get is 20 LP or something like that. And so if you can win 5 in a row, then you get a full division rank up. But I do think you need to take the time to play to
Or
actually improve at the game.
so, I mean, since you're saying that this is one way to tackle Smurfs, like I definitely think that that could be a very effective strategy. For the record, I wasn't trying to segue and dismiss what you were saying, but I will say that I think maybe instead to appease everyone and allow Smurfs to exist, which I still don't think is the ideal state, maybe then you just make it so that you tie it to some unique identifier. So in the US, their social security number. I know in South Korea they have their own version of social security number. In China, it's probably like state, social identity number or whatever the hell you want to call it. Et cetera, et cetera. Every country has its own way of uniquely identifying people. You can register as many accounts as you want for that, but you can only register one per calendar year to play ranked with. Because if you say per season, then they could try it on this other account, season one. If it doesn't, like in the first split of season one, it doesn't work. Okay. Then in split two, I'm going to put a different one in here and maybe see if that works then. If you tie it to a singular, um, if you tie it to a singular person, then you're going to limit smurfing. And I know that some people are going to say, hey, I could just sign up for a league account under my mom's social security number. Or, like in my case, my girlfriend doesn't play video games at all, except for when I make her play Wii. Then I could sign up under her. Yeah, that'll still happen. But it's a lot fewer and far between because a lot of people are not going to go through the effort to do that. They're also not, there's a lot of people that don't feel comfortable giving out their unique, that identifier level to their family members. Because some of the, like, we all know, every single one of us out there has that, or several skeevy family members who who, if you did it, might steal your fucking identity. It's just the truth. So you wouldn't want to give that out that often. So if they were to have it in some combination of allowing multiple accounts, but maybe in norms you can have multiple accounts and play with any of them you want, any combination. But then in ranked or ranked flex and solo queue, or some combination of some queues, it's consolidated into only these people's main accounts for the calendar year, because maybe you do want to swap because you got a cooler name on the other account, or you got banned on one account, so then you're allowed to use your other account, like all this other shit. Yeah, this is never anything I've thought of. Like, this is just straight up stream of consciousness. So if I'm spouting pure bullshit and you think it's garbage, please tell me.
It's just our Sunday afternoon drink session.
Exactly. And
It's like
I've
when you
only
talk about
I've
the
only
bar.
had 2 frozen burritos, a fig bar, and then I had a third frozen burrito. So my first 2 I had at like 6:10, 6:15 this morning. Then I had another frozen burrito. Sorry, not frozen burrito. I had a breakfast burrito at probably 1 p.m. or no, 2 p.m. when we were driving back to Denver from the mountains. And I had a fig bar at the apex of our hike. I want to say at like 11 a.m., maybe like 11:30. I also, if anyone can see, I got the sunburn here because not, well, I guess not because it's sun. That's why, because. But I shouldn't have phrased it that way. I got the sunburn there. We were we were up like 12, 13,000. I don't think it was 13,000. We were at like 12,000 feet or so above the tree line up there, and there was not any sun. But because we were so far up, and then the thin air, and it was coming through the clouds, the sun was, I actually got the sunburn there. Didn't put on any sunscreen this morning because we have like really, like nice sunscreen because we're out hiking every weekend. Like literally almost every weekend. I put on sunscreen generally if it's sunny, but I didn't feel like I needed to because it rained all day Friday. And was super cloudy all day Saturday. So fine, the forecast said Saturday cloudy across the entire state. Fine, I thought I'd be fine, but nope. I got some sunburn up here. I got sunburn up here, and then this little dot here is like some sort of like ingrown hair or pimple or something I've been trying to pop. But then the rest of it's like whiter down here, back to my normal skin tone, where like more light reflects off of me than comes off the sun.
The cloud sunburns are the deceptive ones.
Yeah, dude.
Always have to put on sunscreen.
Yeah, dude. They really are. Especially when you're at altitude. Like, you hear about people getting burned all the time when they're skiing and,
Skiing and
yep.
snowboarding, yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, out here in Colorado, I'm sure I'll hear about it all the time from like my coworkers or other people that I know. They're like, "Oh my God, I went skiing!" And I mean, I haven't been here for a winter yet, but I remember as a kid and as a teenager going skiing out here, and then having to put sunscreen on because my parents told me to. Little did I know they were actually like making the right call, because otherwise I would have got burned in the winter at altitude. Yeah. I don't know how I got onto that digression, and I don't quite remember where we were 100% previously. I know we were talking about ranked and stuff like that, but
we were talking about our stream of consciousness because we were drinking, and you were explaining that you didn't have a lot to eat.
Oh, there we go. That's why I've been affected by not a ton of gin, and I mean, sweet tea doesn't make you intoxicated, so it's just been gin for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did push. I asked Katie, my girlfriend, to see if I was gonna cook dinner tonight, but I asked her, is it cool to push that till tomorrow? Because I'm gonna make some fajitas from home. I got some chicken tenderloins that have been defrosted in the fridge for a day now, so they're good for one more day. I'll start the marinade tomorrow while I'm working. Um, that got a whole bunch of stuff. I learned. Learned is like a strong word because it's not really hard, but I've made different types of rice outside of a rice cooker before, right? But like
Mhm.
I've made the yesterday for breakfast. I made cilantro lime rice like they do at Chipotle because I didn't really want to buy tortillas when I was at the grocery store since I have like a big container, or for those in the upper Midwest, a tote is what they call it, of like 20 pounds worth of rice sitting there because I get like one of those a year and it's like $30 and then I have a year's worth of rice. Yeah, but I have that, so I made the Chipotle style cilantro lime rice and made it too limey, but now I learned for the future how to not make it so limey because I didn't know the proportions as much. But yeah.
Nice. I got some braised beef short ribs right now in the oven that are going, so we're gonna have a short rib stew
Okay, so
for
what
dinner
marinade
tonight.
did you put on them? Did you marinate them? Or like what else is in the oven on them? Because I'm sure it's not just literally like the dry short ribs on a baking
So
sheet.
it's like balsamic vinegar is in it, some cooking wine, salt and pepper, but it's pretty much just like a pretty standard,
That's very
I guess,
basic, yeah.
braised short rib. Yeah, I don't want any extra flavorings because we're having like potatoes and carrots in it, and I don't want to like change the the flavoring. I do like the Korean short rib
I was
stew.
gonna say I was thinking
So
of Korean short ribs, so I was expecting you to say
mhm.
like some gochujang paste or some chili
No,
oil or
yeah,
something. Yeah,
yeah. It's like a more like a hearty beef tasting flavor. So it's like beef bouillon, using like flour to kind of thicken it up,
nice,
and then like a balsamic glaze in it too. So it's kind of the little bit on the sweeter side, but still very like short rib tasting focused instead of like the other sauces.
nice. I went to Korean barbecue with some friends who were staying with me I guess this past week. We went on Tuesday evening, the day before they left, because that's why I couldn't go to community night because I had some friends in town. They'd never been to Korean barbecue, but yeah, we had some fantastic like bulgogi, and then there were
Mhm.
some Korean short ribs as well. And those the braised short, well, it wasn't like braised because you put them on the grill in front of you and then cook them yourself, but like the short ribs were the only things that were not unlimited. So we got like one serving worth of those, and then the rest of it was like you get as many. We didn't ask for a meat refill because we had a lot of meat. We were fine, but it was pork belly. It was bulgogi. There was spicy uh like chili marinated pork or so, and then there was
Mhm.
also some chicken in one. I don't remember exactly what was in it, but on the menu it just said like spicy pork. So
Mm. Mhm.
yeah, so that's my experience with short ribs at home. I've never made short ribs. That's my experience with short ribs, eating them out. I've never made short ribs at home.
Yeah, they're kind of expensive now. When I was a kid, they were pretty cheap because they were part of the cow that a lot of people didn't utilize, so they'd always be thrown out. Kind of like chicken wings, right? Chicken wings were super cheap because they're parts of the bird that people didn't find any use for earlier on, but then they started getting really popular. But yeah, my go-to Korean barbecue meats are the short rib for sure. I'm a huge fan of the brisket. So if you can get the brisket, I would always recommend that. It comes very
You
thinly
probably get it
sliced.
at your local butcher, not a grocery store.
What?
The brisket, I imagine you can't get that
No,
at
the
your.
Korean barbecue. You can get it at the
Oh,
local
sorry.
butcher too.
At K Barbecue. Sorry, I miss.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I only partially paid attention to what you were saying. I'm sorry. I was googling
No
something.
worries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but the brisket at Korean barbecue is really good because they cut it really thin,
Yeah, they
and
do.
so it's almost similar to like a bulgogi texture, but it's not marinated. But you dip it in like the sesame oil, and then you wrap it in your pickled radish with rice
Yes,
paper, and it's really tasty.
it's amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm a fan of all Korean barbecue, both pork and beef. I usually don't really go for chicken that much, but
Yeah,
sometimes
I
if
was
there's a good
surprised
marinade,
they
I'll go for
surprised.
chicken.
The marinade was very good, I will say,
Hmm.
because marinade makes a huge difference for chicken as opposed to like
Yeah.
a lot of other beef can carry its own marinade regardless. So can pork. mean, a lot of meats can. Chicken, you kind of need to flavor it with some shit. So yeah, the
Yeah.
marinade that at the place that we went to specifically was quite good.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
And a lot of marinades also have like a lot of sugar in them, so
they
they
do.
burn pretty easily on the grill. And so
Yeah.
that's I'm not a big fan of like the super sweet marinades. When I do my carby marinade at home, it's the beef short rib.
Okay.
I use ground up pear instead of sugar or honey in it,
Interesting.
and
Ground
it's the
pear.
pear acts as like a tenderizer, kind of like kiwi does. So kiwi is used as like a way to break down tougher
Really?
meats. Yeah, and so the
I've
pear does the
never
same
heard of
thing
that
with the short
before.
rib. So
Like
you
kiwi juice, or are you saying like you basically take the kiwi and put it in like a mortar and pestle and grind the whole fucking thing down, then pour it into the marinade?
So that's what I do for the Korean marinade. I take pear and just blend up the pear. So it's a pear and onion slurry mixed in with my uh, Korean soy sauce marinade, and then you just let your beef sit in that, and it becomes super tender. And when you after you're done grilling it, you take a bite and it just like falls off the bone.
So is that
It's
what
super
it,
good.
okay, so I looked up, like I literally googled kiwi ribs,
Hmm.
and I'm seeing like a kalbi short, like Korean beef short ribs recipe, and I see
Hmm.
like kiwi, Fuji apple, Asian pear, like they're grinding those things up.
Yeah,
Wow.
you put them in the blender and it's part of your marinade. So the marinade's a little chunky, but after you mix it with like the soy sauce and everything, it
It
like
loosens up, yeah.
thins it out. But yeah, it's like you don't even taste the fruit in itself because all of the sugar from the fruit or the enzymes from the fruit actually break down the meat, so the meat just is like not tough at all. So you can take the toughest cut of meat and marinate with this pear onion blend with a soy sauce, and it'll make it tender every time.
Damn.
And so all these fruits have like these enzymes that break down, like I think like meat proteins or like something like that, and
I
it
mean,
becomes super soft.
that's the same stuff that like ceviche, how like all the citrus cooks the meat. So when
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
when you're ever going to marinate, like if you're going to marinate in like chicken or poultry, you need to be really
Hmm.
careful about how much you put in, because if you marinate with a bunch of lemon juice and put it overnight, it'll cook the damn thing, and then it won't
Yeah.
actually be. You can't really grill it or put it in the oven or whatever the fuck you want to do with it. But if you do that with beef, like it's totally fine, or pork, or
Hmm.
short. I mean, that beef or short ribs or like venison or other red meats, you should be fine generally.
Yeah. That's why for this type of marinade, you don't want to marinate for more than a day because after a day, your beef becomes like kind of mushy
Yeah.
and it's like really weird. But yeah, I would definitely recommend if you can take any kind of Bosch pear or like Fuji apples,
Yep.
and I guess I don't know if the apples have the enzyme, but I know kiwis and pears for sure have it, and you can just blend that in with
I
your
doubt
marinade.
apples do, because they're not very watery, and that's a
Hmm.
lot of what I mean, maybe they have it, but not in copious amounts, because that's a lot what comes out of the lemon and the lime. Like you
Yeah.
can squeeze the juice out, like they're watery, and same with kiwi or like watermelon or other things. Like watermelon doesn't have that so much at all, but like
Hmm.
watery fruits or watery vegetables, like they have
Yeah.
that where you can imbue it into the food.
Hmm. Yeah, I would definitely recommend that. Like take any cut of meat and then just get like soy sauce and then a pear, onion, blend it up, put some sesame oil on it, and then just marinate overnight and grill it. And then you can get a pretty close to like a Korean barbecue style marinade. And it's
Okay.
super affordable to make at home too, because Korean barbecue is really expensive now.
Yeah.
Before it was really affordable as a kid, but then as the cost of all these random cuts started going up, they had to
Also, a bunch of
also
white
increase
people
the
found
food.
it and increased the cost of it. Let's be real.
Exactly.
Like
pretty pretty
I'm
much.
fine. I'm fine to understand. Like we know when I was a little kid, because I'm 27 now. When I was a little kid, Korean barbecue was not a thing at all. Now, when I was a teenager into college, it became this fad Korean barbecue, and then they increased the
Hmm.
prices because a bunch of white people found it out, and they started, Asian people started charging white people more money. Like I get it. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm happy to take responsibility on behalf of white people for raising the prices of it. Like that's fine.
Yeah,
It's our
we
fault.
we would always have like these family cookouts where we would get like 20 pounds of short ribs from the butcher, and since the butcher had no use for them, we
Yeah.
would get it like $3-4 per pound.
Fucking
And you can get
Jesus,
20
dude.
20 pounds of it and just marinate it for like a huge family gathering. And there's like 40 of us, and we're just there like eating the Korean barbecue as it's coming off the grill.
Oh
Because
my
that's the best time to eat it.
god.
You don't want to like take it off and like let it sit.
No.
So what you do is
You
you
chop it up with
grill
the
like a
food
slab.
scissors basically, and then cut it up for
Yeah.
your family. Yeah.
Yeah, and then everyone just has a piece as it comes off the grill, and you just take turns like grabbing it off the grill and eating it. It's
Yep.
really nice.
That's what we did with Korean barbecue when I went on Tuesday. Yeah, it was like
Hmm.
I was in charge of like cooking the meat generally because I just kind of took charge because I like to do that. I also don't have to
Hmm.
talk as much if I'm cooking the food. But anyways, yeah, like put it all down, and then like as I'm taking it off, hey, do you want some? Okay, cool. Here's the food. I'm holding it with the tongs and the food scissors, like chop, chop, chop. Okay, here you go,
Yeah,
here you go, here you go, here you go. Oh, I'll have some too. That sort of stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, if you want a really good marinade that I don't want to say developed because I've kind of like found it some, but also put my own twist on it. Um, I mean, you're in SoCal, so you have to like Latin American food in general, right?
I like all types. There's no
Okay.
food I don't like.
Okay, cool. So, if you want to do like more like Andean, like in the Andes, like Peruvian or Argentinian style, like steak or so, go get a cut of either like a pound or maybe 2 pounds or whatever you want to do of like a skirt steak or flank steak. You can find flank steak pretty often in the grocery store, or at least around me. Skirt steak is a bit harder to find, but it's not that expensive because it's almost entirely muscle. So there's not a lot of fat on it. It doesn't have the filet
Mm.
fat. It
Yeah,
doesn't
I know
have
it's pretty lean.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's super lean, so it's pretty cheap because no one wants it. So if you're going to your butcher, then you can get it pretty cheap. And so put it overnight in a Tupperware of some sort, um, a container or whatever, with just I do some olive oil. I do some if I have it. I do. Oh, what the fuck is it called? Oh God, I can't even think of what it's called. With um, not soy sauce with lime. Like what's the like citrus soy sauce?
Hanzu.
Yeah. Sorry, ponzu. Yeah, put some ponzu in it because you don't need to put extra salt with that. So ponzu, put some
Hmm.
ponzu, some olive oil, or just your general oil, some ground black pepper. You put in some just like minced garlic that you cut yourself. Do not buy the jarred minced garlic. It is I'm not saying it to you, I'm saying this to the world. Jarred minced garlic is like the most fucking awful faux pas for people that actually enjoy cooking. Do not ever buy that shit. It's sweet and it's nasty and it's disgusting. Okay. So, yeah, mince some garlic, put it in there. You could put a little bit of onion if you want. You could put some onion powder. I also like to put in like some um like a little bit of like ground basil or so, and then just put it in overnight, let it sit, and then the next day you can put in some lemon juice or some lime juice if you want as well, but that's in the ponzu, so you shouldn't need to. And you
Hmm.
don't need extra salt because that's also in the ponzu. For people who don't know what ponzu sauce is, it's soy sauce mixed with citrus. So you get a lot of the salt of soy and you're getting some of the citrus as well. And that really helps to break down the connective tissues of the meat. Then the next day, like in the evening, grill the meat, and then you don't need to put any other marinade on it. You can pour the extra red on top if you want, if it's that much more. Um, yeah, and it's fucking delicious. Like you can put that, do some yuca fries. You can probably get a really good yuca root in SoCal, I bet. Have you ever made yuca? Have you had yuca fries? You know what I'm talking about at all? No.
No,
Okay.
I assume it's some kind of root, but
Yeah. So do you know what? Have you heard of cassava?
no.
Okay. So cassava root or cassava flour is used in it's used for like in non-flour baking things. Cassava is the same, it's almost the same thing, it's basically the same thing as yucca, which if you
Oh, is it kind of like that
hold on. I have
cornmeal
some in the
type of?
I have something in the fridge. Let me go grab it real quick.
Okay.
One second.
While Eric is grabbing that, I would also suggest with the Korean barbecue marinade, you make Korean barbecue burritos. I was just talking about this in the Discord, but what you do is you take your bulgogi marinade or any type of meat marinade essentially, and then you make a kimchi fried rice, and then you put your barbecue Korean beef with your kimchi fried rice in a tortilla, and then you have a Korean style burrito, and it's actually fabulous. It's amazing. You get the combination of like the Korean acidity of the kimchi, and then you have the savoriness and the sweetness of like the barbecue in itself. And then if you want, you can throw in other beans or salsa too. The salsa that I really like making is like a a gochujang aioli, so I put the gochujang aioli in my Korean barbecue burrito.
Okay. I mean, Korean tacos are like Korean and Mexican food is like a fusion made in heaven of the two cuisines. So yeah. So this is a yuca root. Like I don't. It's
Okay, yeah.
yeah. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen it in the grocery
Oh
store
yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was called a yuca. So we actually have that in Korea too. So
Really?
we use that in stews. Yeah.
It's.
So
I mean, it's you have to peel the skin.
Yeah, you have to peel it. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, interesting. I didn't know
I
that was
was
actually
told
in Korea.
Yeah, I was told the skin's like almost like an air tint, and so you have to peel it. You can't eat it. And so
Not at all.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like white on the inside, right?
Yes,
looks like
super white, and there's a pith in the middle that if you can get it out. Otherwise, you just kind of as you're eating it, spit it out.
Okay, I just never knew the name of that. I just called it like a different potato, but
Gotcha. So in like it's like yuca or cassava is another word for it. Like if you ever see cassava flour on any baking product, it's the same shit. It's like made from that basically. That's what the flour is ground from. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, yuca fries or yuca mash in general, like fantastic. And then make your own oh god, like Argentinian like olive oil to put with it. I can't even think of what it's called right now, but
like a chimichurri.
yes, that's the word right now. I'm having a lot of like tip of my tongue, can't think of it right now. Prescavou.
You're
It's
talking with
Prescavou is what it's called. That's the French term for what it is because it's not what oh my god, I'm having a Prescavou about. It's not déjà vu. Déjà vu is different. It's a Prescavou. If it's on the tip of your tongue, you can't talk about it. That's the colloquial for what it is Prescavou. So I'm having a lot of those right now. But yeah, fry up some yuca fries, which are amazing with that same chimichurri oil. If you make like a bunch of extra of it, saute up some peppers and onions and stuff like that, or maybe do some purple potatoes as well, like Peruvian purple potatoes. Fucking amazing. But yeah, try that steak marinade as well. It's amazing. And if you have an outdoor grill, that's the best way to do it. I have not done it on an outdoor grill. I've only previously done it on in my old apartment. I had just the grill pan, like one of those cast iron grill pans, so I would do it on that. But I have grills now at my current apartment complex, and I'm excited to try it at some point here. Yeah. Ooh, I had a couple.
This is a League of Legends podcast where we talk about food occasionally.
Yes, I mean we're cosplaying the Master Chef Tom Kench or whatever the hell that skin is called.
Yeah.
Yep. So I guess if we're talking about League, then I figure why don't we try this? I found there's a quiz on Sporkle, which if you guys want to try it, you absolutely could. It's a League of Legends Champions by Ultimate. So I'll fire this up. I'm gonna put it on not paused. Ooh, resume. I want to put it on not classic. Well, let me refresh the page. I want to put it on untimed because is there a way to do this on this? There is on Jetpunk. If anybody uses Jetpunk, then okay, here we go. Practice mode. Alrighty. So I'm going to ask you, I don't know, a random amount of these, and you're going to guess if you know the answers to them. So I'm going to tell you the ultimate ability. You're going to tell me the champion that its ability is for. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
And I'm going to type them in if it's correct. If not, because I know most of these. So the first one, I'll give you an easy one. Daisy.
Ivern.
That is correct. Ivern. Okay.
These are ability names. I don't read anything.
Oh, okay. So yes, these are ability names. Yeah. Okay. Solar Flare.
Sounds like Leona.
It is Leona. Correct. How about this whimsical one? Let's Bounce.
Oh, that's Zach.
That is Zach. Yes. Okay. Let's do Deathmark.
Zed.
That is Zed. Yes. Death Lotus. I know what this one is. I typed in almost the entire word except for the last character. I'm just waiting on it.
Is it Lotus.
If you guess wrong, I'm not gonna like penalize you. There's no way for me to penalize you, so you can
I'm
have a
just
few
thinking,
guesses.
What could come with Lotus? Is it Talon?
It is not Talon.
Death Lotus.
Yeah, I was
Whose
right.
kit
Okay.
has a Lotus in it?
It's
Not. Is it Irelia?
it is not Irelia.
Lotus.
I'll give you one more guess and then I'll tell you what it was.
Is it Yasuo?
It is not Yasuo. It is Katarina, Death Lotus.
Ah, okay, I can see it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Chain of Corruption. This is in pro play all the time.
Chain of Corruption.
Again, I'll give you
Whose
3 guesses
ultimate-
before I tell you what it was.
Whose ultimate has a chain? Chain of Corruption. Is this Nautilus?
It is not Nautilus, no.
Chain of Corruption. Gotta dig deep into the champion lores. Chain of Corruption.
If you want to go on the wiki but not look up a specific champion, I will allow it. I'm not gonna go through the 100. I'm not gonna go through 163 of these. Don't worry. But yeah, these are also not in any order. I'm randomly clicking all around, so it's not going to be related at all.
Chain of Corruption. Who?
Okay, I'll give you a role. This champion is played almost exclusively in bot and mid lane.
Bot and mid lane.
Yes.
Chain of Corruption.
I'm sure everyone that is listening to this is screaming blank.
Who? Chain of Corruptions
You're welcome to guess.
in the bot lane. So it can be. It's probably a mage if it's played mage or marksman.
Are you asking me or are you thinking out loud?
I'm thinking out loud.
Okay.
Champions who can be played. It's 80 carry position, right? Not or a bot lane in general, support or
80 carry style that can also be played mid a la Tristana. It is not Tristana, that style. What I mean, so they're ADC that can be swapped. Is that your guess?
Lucian. No, I'm trying to figure out who's played.
You have 3 guesses.
Kaisa?
You can guess shit.
Kaisa's also played in the mid lane.
Are you guessing Kaisa?
Pro play? You said pro play?
They are in pro. They are also played in non-pro in both mid and bot. Much more common in bot lane, but it does happen in both of the queues. If you want an example, I know that Caps has played this champion in mid lane within the last year. It may not help you at all. I don't think it does.
Oh man, Chain of Corruption.
Do you want me to just tell you? Because you're struggling way too hard. It's Varus.
Oh, okay. I see it now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, his ultimate thing. Okay, shoots. Okay. I actually did not think about Varus being played in the mid lane. Okay.
Yeah, which does happen. That's a fair hint to give.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Realm Warp.
That is Rise.
That is Rise. Correct.
I'm trying to like picture the ability and then basing it on the champion based on the name.
Okay. Hallucinate. I typed it in before I with my guess before I proposed it to you because I wasn't 100% on that.
Hallucinate.
So, do you want the roles of this champion?
Sure.
Okay, primarily jungle support in that order.
Jungle support.
There is one person
Fiddlesticks?
Nope. There is one person who plays this, one very famous person in the League community who plays this in top lane.
Man, jungle.
This champion has been nerfed in 2 successive patches, not including the one that's coming up, has been nerfed 2 patches in a row for support specific nerfs. At least 1, definitely, maybe 2.
Oh man, hallucinate?
Yeah.
What type of champion does this?
Think about what champions play with your mind. They're mind games. What champions are mind games?
Is it Shaco?
It is. Yes.
Okay.
Feast.
Cho'Gath?
Yeah, that's an easy one. I needed to give you a win.
Yeah, there we go.
All
We
right.
take those.
True Shot Barrage.
That's Ezreal.
That is Ezreal, yes. So we've gone through 10. I'll do another 10 or maybe 20 or so. Will depend. All right. If you don't get this one, it's going to be real bad. Nar.
It's Gnar.
It is Nar.
Let's go.
Chum the Waters.
Fizz.
It is Fizz, yes.
I was thinking Fizz or TK, but I was trying to remember what TK's ability his ultimate does now. His ultimate's the eating, right? The
Well,
allies?
his now actually has two names because I was surprised by this. It's Devour and Regurgitate.
Oh, for the recast or
Yeah, no, for the recatch is Regurgitate. Yeah,
got it.
yep. Supreme Display of Talent. So they're
Kiana?
It is Kiana. Yeah, nice. Apotheosis.
Apotheosis. Is that Zyra?
Nope.
Apotheosis.
2 more guesses before I tell you, and you're embarrassed in front of the entire world of
I don't even...
one person. Oh, 2 people watching, including me. Oh, the other one's Kaib.
Apotheosis. What? Can I get a definition?
Of apotheosis? Do you want me to tell you a definition of the word or of what the
word.
ability kind of does? Okay, so I'll tell you the word then. Fine. The highest point in development of something, culmination or climax. That is the definition from Oxford Languages. To use it in a sentence, his appearance as Hamlet was the apotheosis of his career. That doesn't fucking help at all for League.
Aatrox?
Nope. You got one more guess.
Oof. I have no idea.
I'll give you a hint then. They are played exclusively in bot lane.
Bot lane. Like 80 carry?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I can't even like picture what this ability looks like.
They were played in the Gen G T1 Summer Finals by fuck is his name? Not Guma.
Phase?
Yeah, Pays played him. Guma also is good at playing this champion though. If you don't know, and that's fine. Like it's not a
Draven?
It is not Draven, no.
Okay.
It is Neela.
Neela. Oh, okay. So
I don't
his
necessarily.
The spinning can pull people.
Yeah,
in?
the spinning that pulls people in and heals her for a specific amount. Yes.
Okay,
All right, here I'll give you an easy one here. Spider form / human form.
It's Elise.
Yes, it is. All right, we'll do like 4 or 5 more. Lamb's respite or respite, depending on your
Kindred?
pronunciation. It is Kindred. Yes.
Because the lamb that gave it away.
Yeah. Grand Starfall. This one should be harder.
It's either Pantheon or Asol.
Okay, what is your guess?
I think it's Pantheon.
It is Pantheon. Asol was not it at all. Because Asol has 2 different like names depending on it. It's the what is it? Where did it go?
I know the ultimate is the charged up one is the Skies Descend, right? Or
Yeah, Skies Descend. Yeah. Falling Star / Skies Descend. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
I played with
Skies Descend because I always ping it and then saying like 90% done.
Yeah, like hold off on fighting. Give me one more wave. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. World Ender.
That's Aatrox.
Yes, that is Aatrox. Yep. Let me see. Let me give you a hard one here. Infinite Duress.
Ooh.
So,
Duress.
do you want any hints about this at all yet, or no?
Infinite Duress. Is this Hecarim?
Nope.
Infinite Duress.
I got it right on the first try, by the way, folks.
Infinite Duress.
Do you want a hint now?
Sure.
Okay, so this champion is almost exclusively a jungler or a top laner if you really know what the fuck you're doing. This champion has also been in the game since almost the beginning of the game. This champion has also been reworked. Like a top-down rework, like Scion. It is not Scion, but they have been reworked a la Scion.
Is it Swain?
It is not Swain. One more.
Infinite Duress. And been in the game for a long time, reworked.
This champion, I'll give you another free hint.
In the jungle mainly?
In the jungle, almost exclusively, sometimes played in top lane. They have one of the buggiest abilities in the game, or people at least perceive it to be that way. This champion is melee. It is not ranged.
Yeah, I think I have an answer.
All right,
Can you
give me
one more hint to verify?
Sure, okay. This champion, if they're played in top lane, takes barrier.
Warwick.
Yes, it is Warwick. I felt like I gave you enough fucking hints that you better have gotten that shit. All right. All right, we'll go like one or two more then. And then we can call it on the pod. Let's go The Culling.
Oh, that one's Lucian.
I actually couldn't think about what it was for a second. Okay. Okay. Shadow Assault. I got it. Okay. There's a lot of them that had the word shadow in it.
Is this Vex?
It is not Vex.
Oh, it sounds like a Vex ability.
There are 4 champions that have the word shadow in their ultimate ability. I think this one of them is Vex. Let me look real quick. One of them is Vex. This one was not Vex though. Vex is Shadow Surge. This is Shadow Assault.
Shadow Assault. So if I'm thinking it's like a dash ability, maybe.
The other 2, if you want the names, are Onslaught of Shadows and Dawning Shadow.
I have. Is Onslaught of Shadows the? Is that Nautilus? Oh.
No, that's not Nautilus either. That's Hecarim.
Nocturne. Oh, Hecarim. Okay.
Nocturne is Paranoia. That's his name. Is his ultimate.
Okay. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to picture all these abilities.
I mean, there's 163 of them now, so.
Yeah.
Shadow Assault.
Shadow Assault.
It is a champion that you have previously guessed within this game.
Oh, man.
That doesn't help you all that much, but.
No.
Do you want rolls?
Sure, I'll take a roll.
Okay, mid/jungle, about proportionally even, in my perception.
Oh, mid-jungle, pretty even.
I will look up to see what the percentages are, but I'm not sure I can figure it out. According to op.gg, they are mid/jungle in that order, but they are listed on both. And by they, I'm not saying it's a multiple champion like Kindred or something. I'm just leaving it alone.
What does that mean? Shadow Assault.
It's a crap name for their ultimate. If it helps, they are a champion that uses mana.
I don't think any of this helps. Shadow Assault.
They only started getting played in jungle, realistically, around Season 10. There was the blank Yuumi meta in early Worlds. I remember it specifically.
Blank Yuumi meta.
Season 10, because I remember T1 did not make it in Season 8, and Season 9 was not this meta. And it was banned a lot of the time in Season 10. This jungler, if they play jungle, which for the record, they play equally jungle mid, takes Smite Ignite. If they play mid, they take Ignite Flash. They have arguably the strongest level 2 in the game. He's struggling, folks. I figured that last one might have given you something.
What champion?
It's perfectly reasonable to take Corrupting Pot on them. You could also take Boots and refillable or Longsword and refillable. Like they can use whatever because they have such a strong level 2 spike to be able to dominate the lane.
Level 2 spike from primarily mid?
Yes.
Or a jungler?
Or a jungler, in that order, respectively. I can give you a different one. Like we can give this one up and go to a different one. That's fine. I don't want to be cruel.
What mid can also be played jungle?
Okay, do you want me to just tell you?
Is it Talon?
It is Talon, yes.
Okay.
That took you a while.
I was thinking of a mage. I'm like, what mage?
Brand.
Okay. I guess so, yeah.
Brand has extra bonus damage on his passive on monsters, so that one's realistic, but yeah. All right, I'll give you one more that should be a lot easier then. All right, you ready? Moonfall.
Is that Diana?
That is Diana. Yeah, I felt you needed a win.
Yeah, the moon itself gave it away. So
yeah, that could have been Aphelios though. I mean,
maybe,
probably not, but it could have been. Yeah. All right. Well, we've been going for an hour and a half, so I feel like we're probably good. Your short ribs are probably pretty close to being done at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right. Well, if you have any feedback for us, please let us know at questions@trinityforcepodcast.com or send it via the Discord thread called Feedback. And if you don't know how to reach our Discord, go to our website, trinityforcepodcast.com. Or trinityforcenetwork.com. Let me make sure I got that actually right. I think it's Trinityforce. Trinityforcenetwork.com. Apologies. Additionally, we have community nights, which happen every Tuesday starting at 7:15 Eastern and running for several hours. And so please hop in and join us for community games and pre-mades and everything in customs. It's a great time. It's a lot of fun. Lastly, please check out our Patreon. We have a slew of different benefits at different tiers for different price points. So if you like the content that you're hearing / watching and hearing, then please check that out and support us at the tier that you feel is most appropriate and that you can afford. And we appreciate you listening to us so much and, being a part of the community. So with that, we'll call this. This has been episode 822. Next week, we will have a patch rundown of episode 823 will be a patch rundown of patch, I think it's 13.16 or 13.17 coming out next. So should be a sweet patch. I'm excited to talk about it. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Peace.